Welcome to Vodhalla.
Summer Championship 17th, Spring Championship not even inside top 32, and here Luna is stepping everything up, coming in seed 21, now going up against Snowy. Seed 4 for this one. We're gonna have a double axe game here.
Yeah.
One player, though, is playing on that Taros. We were talking about the Taros in the back, how scary a Taros is. We cannot stress that enough. That Taros is such a scary legend to play against. Talking about the GC side sig on Hammer. He did that on the end, on the edge, but just doing it like barely off the ground is so nasty, even on main stage.
Several recoveries from Luna already hitting here. Snowy switching over to the gauntlets. So Snowy is leading with the Rayman that we talked about. Oh, imagine your first stock goes down to Taros neutral sig. He gets spiked off the right side of the stage, and it wasn't even the funny neutral sig where you gravity cancel off the side of the stage after activating wall slip. That was just a hard jump read coming out from Luna. Luna uses the recovery. Oh, he spikes in the downer, the weapon throws. Oh, that was insane!
He picked up the bottom side of that recovery, and he knew to just go to town.
I can't believe what I just saw. It was the bottom side of the recovery, and no hesitation. Downer hits, weapon throw to stop the panic recovery from Snowy. Dive kick, almost like the soonest that you can act out of a weapon throw. That downer was in there, kicking Snowy down and keeping Snowy out of there. 2 stocks in under a minute, and Snowy might get 3 stocked by Luna here, who remind me of the seed of this tournament.
Seed 21, Tazza.
Okay.
What an edge guard. What an insane edge guard. Luna played that 100% perfect. Just saw the opportunity, and it wasn't even guaranteed from the beginning, right? You had to notice that they picked up the recovery on the bottom side of it. You had to notice exactly where Snowy's health was to then choose to continue to go in. What an edge guard that we love to see. It had so many moving parts on it. Recovery almost the back side of that one.
Oh, wow. Snowy checking out of that game after that second stock. I really feel like that. Holy cow, 448 damage versus 236. Snowy just getting clobbered by Luna. I mean, yeah, we got to see the one knockout that Snowy got that game, but man, Luna was something else. Looking at the damage per engagement, 19 for Snowy. That's like
40
our light attack.
Luna, dude, that's insane.
For how quick that match was.
And think about it, that 236 damage, that was a JV3 from Luna. Totally white on that second stock. So that means 236 damage all went into that first stock from Luna against a character that doesn't really struggle necessarily with knockout potential. You're looking at a Rayman. Gauntlet signatures looking good. Obviously, we know the knockout potential of Axe. Insane play from Luna in game 1.
So we're going over to the Great Hall, a stage that has a little bit more potential for recovering. It's one of the few stages that has a platform permanently hanging out over the edge, right? We have Mammoth Fortress where sometimes it visits, but in this case, you can actually just touch the wall, go straight up, and you'll have something to land on and get your jumps back to. Snowy definitely had that bout of difficulty recovering in game number 1, but let's see how game 2 plays out. Luna, so far, is like they're about to take a stock here. They follow that recovery. Snowy kind of running for his life, I feel like.
Definitely running for his life. And is he going to fall the same way he did before?
Oh, wait, it's going to be huge.
Oh!
Snowy.
Oh, he didn't get the wall touch.
No way. That is what makes Snowy such a great player. Getting clobbered by Hammer the entire game, sees one slip up from Luna. Luna goes in for the D-Light ground pound, misses, holds that move a little too long, and Snowy unarmed goes in for the perfect punish. And now we've seen 2 amazing examples of how to take down somebody's stock at early damage and make sure they never come back, which, mind you, is one of the most difficult things to do in Brawlhalla. You have so many tools to recover. That's what makes these offstage exchanges so fun to watch. It's because when they succeed, it's like you had to read your opponent 5 times for that to work.
If you remember that clip of, like, I think is it Pavelski and Ninja from like last weekend? They're like over on the bottom left side, and they're like, how did they survive?
Yeah.
That shows how hard it is to take someone out in that early damage. Great spot dodge from Snowy there.
And both the most important part for me is that both players have proven that they can do it.
Yes.
Weapon or not.
Very important.
So now we're in a dead even game. Luna seems to be a little shook up after that happened. And Snowy, nice down air. A lot of Axe players would rise with a neutral air, expecting Luna to stay on the ground, but he goes for the down air as he jumps to read Luna fast falling through. That sider puts him off stage. Side stick from Luna doesn't get the spot dodge read that he's looking for, but that sider off the platform will get it. Recovery I thought he was going for, but Snowy with the gauntlets disarms him, picks up the new weapon, keeps Luna starved. That down air, I thought it was going to combo into side air. It was so close to working out. Oh, what? I don't know, the weapon throw. I mean, sure, it hit. You got that nice connection sound. Not exactly what you need here. Oh, Sparky there. He is so damaged.
That was a good sidelight from Snowy, though. He ended up disarming himself and picked up the sidelight that let him grab the weapon spawn that came up. Wasn't long until he fell, though, and now he's back again without another weapon, but a great response from Snowy.
How much damage?
Two really strong responses.
How much damage do you think that Grogok had on that time? 300?
That was a lot. That was a lot.
Because if it was 236 in game number 1, I'm wondering how much it was in the game number 2. But we'll see here in a little bit as Snowy's coming through. Will Snowy even up the setter? Is Luna going to have this amazing hammer edge guard once again? Falling Nair is not working out quite well for Luna. As Snowy goes in for that down air, side airs, whiffing. Both players just looking for that first break in neutral. That's going to give him the edge in game 2.
Snowy does find a hit first, but it's with the unarmed kit. Luna still mad controlling these weapons, making sure Snowy is not eaten today. One comes in. He waited just a second for picking it up. Nice two hits. Sig? Put Snowy into the power position here. He's going to be very careful.
It's probably very smart to not try to edge guard.
Definitely. Definitely.
A Terros with hammer, where they could just hit you with the recovery and not yeah, you just lose that game right there. Snowy definitely not taking too many huge risks as the downlights come out. Anti-air strategies on the Great Hall, not your best for winning. And Luna's not opting for that. He's chasing Snowy all off the other side of the stage. He doesn't care how damaged he is. He's looking for these scoops. Snowy gets one kick. Oh, he misses the down air again. That's two. That's two combo stars that Luna has really whiffed in this game. Number 2, side air hits, recovery whiffs. Oh, Snowy has to avoid one axe side air. It's so close. Luna gets the downlight. Sparky, he's going to take the stock. He bounces off the stage. Okay, that could be it. Weapon throw, forces the dodge. He didn't pick it back up, though, because the dodge was forced. The side air hits. You're kidding me. Unarmed side air.
I can't believe he won that with an unarmed side air.
Wow.
That was insane. It felt like towards the end, Luna was a little bit maybe more in control. Even though Snowy was like kind of in the lead, it felt like he was playing defensively a lot of that. I mean, you look at the KO potential of both of those characters at that same moment. The slider is all the way in Luna's favor.
And so I'm looking at the damage taken. I'm like, oh, okay, 565 is not that high. And then I have to remember that Luna lost the stock in yellow to double deal like ground pound. So that is an immense amount of damage coming out from Snowy there.
Show us the graph.
Imagine. Oh, that would, yeah, that'd be
see
pretty
the graph?
interesting. This would be a good match for it.
Pause champ for the graph.
They're not in the map striking just yet.
Oh, please give us the graph. We need the graph. I hope we have the graph.
We could talk about something else during this time. Accuracy for signatures for Luna. He missed one.
There's the graph. Look how small that wedge is for the first stock. Look how low the damage is. Look how quickly that stock was taken.
Wait, that's wild, actually. What's cool about this is that the damage for their engagements were so close to each other.
Yeah.
In terms of how even it was, but that first stock really, like the red graph, just completely dwarfing the blue damage there. And then after that, Luna was just kind of like, well, I'm going to make up for it. I'm going to pretend like every stock is actually 2. After that, and they did such a fantastic job with that, and Snowy just was not able to knock out Luna fast enough on those stocks. Of course, at the very end, it took an unarmed stare to be able to get it down, right? So
of all things,
I feel like if we don't get a crazy offstage reversal knockout that's in like, what, 50 damage range, right? This is looking in favor of Luna moving forward here, because Snowy was having a very huge difficulty knocking out Luna in both games, in games number 1 and game number 2.
I don't know if you noticed how much damage Snowy did unarmed on that one.
Oh,
151 unarmed damage.
Equal to
you
gauntlets.
saw Luna was spending so much time weapon starving that game, forcing Snowy onto that unarmed kit. That's basically a stock's worth of unarmed damage. That gets you from white to red if we're only on unarmed, which is tough.
And it's funny because that last stock, there were definitely moments where Snowy was going for the weapon throws, and all he could do was sidelight him. Yep. There was times where he would sidelight him once. It was like, okay, 10 seconds, take a breather, hit him with another sidelight until eventually the unarmed stare knocked out. I mean, gosh, there was a time, maybe 2017, 2018, where it was actually optimal to hit with that, but unarmed stare is definitely one of the weaker moves in the game when it comes to knocking out, and on Great Hall of all places manages to make it happen. That is just how damaged his opponent was, which means that this game coming up, game 3, everything here is best of 5s, right? But when the score line's 1-1, it basically like wheels down to this best of 3 area, where both players just need to win 2 more games to win this match, go into the winner's side of top 8.
So do you think that we're maybe going to swap to a different stage on this one? I don't feel like anybody was necessarily confident on Great Hall in a way that it was like, oh yeah, this is Great Hall, this is my home, this is my stage, I feel good here. Because especially like Snowy, you were talking about, he's running around all over the place.
Yeah.
I can't imagine that he would be maybe opting into that. Like Luna might leave it open because he has that option to ban down to 3 maps.
It's a tough call. Because something that I noticed, at least in game number 1, I felt like going to the Great Hall was going to be better for Snowy because there's more, like you said, room to move. He has more options to recover. He'll be able to utilize what I feel like Rayman does best, which is knocking off at the side or off the bottom of the stage. But it ended up being a situation where he felt like he was trying to get more knockouts off the top, and it didn't feel like it was any sweat to Luna whatsoever. That first stock, sure, very unfortunate, didn't shake Luna whatsoever. They almost took that game too, off of basically not having a stock to play with. So I'm not so certain. When it comes to what maps are going to be picked. I think that the Great Hall, in general, we're not going back there. I don't know what they're going to pick instead. Maybe Mammoth, maybe Apocalypse, but it's definitely up in the air because both players are seeming to be having different strengths and weaknesses that just happen to complement each other just right to where every game is last stock red.
They could go to another map that still does have soft platforms, but isn't quite exaggerated as a map like Great Hall. Like if we're talking about Enigma, if you're still looking for like maybe 3 platforms, still definitely favors Axe players totally, which they both are. They might both like that. That does give Snowy some place to run around. Even though on the Great Hall he was running for his life, he had places to run for his life too.
Because it was so close for that double down like ground pound knockout in game 2 to actually just be Snowy getting checked out. Right? Like, Luna had taken so little damage there and was almost about to get that knockout. And a great job for Snowy being able to turn that around. But if we keep going game after game after game, I'm wondering who's more consistently going to win these offstage options. My gut is saying Luna after watching them play.
I would agree on that as well. That might see us go to maybe a map that doesn't have small walls. That might make us avoid something like Crystal Temple, even though it does have those soft platforms. Again, a map that will kind of favor Axe players, especially because those soft platforms are so low. You can cover a lot of there with a jump side air, jump neutral air, anything like that. You can cover a lot of that space if you're an Axe player. But with those small walls, that might be something Snowy kind of strays away from after we saw what Luna's able to do on the edge.
Yeah. Winner of this, as we're going further in the best of 5, we'll be going up against Sandstorm. Speaking of bracket results, Sparky, you got a little smile on your face. All right.
Oh, I got a big old smile. I'm gonna let you tell us.
Okay.
What happened?
Looking down in the lower bracket, 3-0, Pugsy knocks out Boomy.
Wow.
In lower round 2, meaning that I think I need to double check this. Boomy.
Wow.
So Boomy. Looking at the route, this is a player that is a favorite. He went to Game 5 against the Koi and went Game 5 against Java. Java wins that, and then it just gets 3-0'd by Pugsy in the lower bracket. So out already from the bracket is a huge upset for a lot of people's fantasy and top 3 picks, I believe.
Yo, dude, that's Worlds, baby.
Yeah.
When it comes down to it, we love to see it narrative-wise. I'm sure the players, Boomy's bummed out. That's going to weigh heavy on him in the off-season. Yeah. He's going to need to bring some fire into Winter Championships, but as we see behind us, tournament keeps rolling on, baby. It stops for nobody. We're getting into this next one here. We're going to find out what happens between Snowy and Luna as we go to the Mammoth Fortress. Like you said, going to have some smaller walls. They're not teeny tiny.
Well,
got a little bit of room to play with.
It is pretty crazy to me, the difference in feel between a Mammoth Fortress game in singles and a Mammoth Fortress game in doubles, right? Because in doubles, you're literally doubling the size of the walls on that map. So the purpose of this stage, I think, changes pretty drastically. Where here, it is difficult to recover in certain situations depending on how friendly the platform is with you. Like right there, that platform wasn't about Snowy on the way back. He got out of there the second he saw Snowy recovering, and Luna took advantage of that. We're seeing Luna trying to go for that neutral sig edge guard again, and that weapon throw. Whoa, Snowy with the fade back to avoid getting hit by that weapon throw. Side airs Luna against the stage and makes it back and starts getting some extra hits himself. Really huge here because we were in a situation where I felt like Snowy was almost going to go down in the first 30 seconds once again.
Yeah, if you saw him get hit by that weapon toss when he was that close to the blast zone in orange, I don't think he was going to be able to get back. It might not matter whatsoever because Luna also put down a ton of damage onto Snowy. That weapon toss makes a connection. Luna has choice of weapons.
I'm telling you.
Look at those spawns coming in so quickly. That's going to completely deny Snowy. What are you telling me, Taz?
The platform doesn't like Snowy today. That was perfect. You see Luna going over there. There's very few stages where you can just stand there holding your weapon and be like, okay, I'm just going to wait for my angle. And that's exactly what happened. Snowy got hit so hard by the axe side air that Luna was just able to hold the weapon throw, charged up, hit him where he saw Snowy was going to go, knowing the dodge was gone. There's no way Snowy was going to get around it. And now it is 3 stocks to 2.
Oh, the max range there.
Yeah, that's huge. Downlight hits as well. Weapon throw upwards, picks up the weapon as it spawns from Luna, which I would have argued was a favorable spot for Luna, but Snowy gets that stock and evens things up pretty quickly.
Even though his weapon toss like went behind him in an arcing motion, I don't actually know if that was maybe a misinput or something, but if Luna tried to get like beyond him, closer to the center of the stage, that was actually a really sick weapon toss, and it allowed him some space to then snake that weapon spawn like you said. But we're going in back. It's Axe versus Axe here. It still seems like Luna is mostly in control. Like Snowy, you see him moving back a lot, but he is still finding good hits. He moves back and then fades in, gets his hit, and then backs away. Again, he's continuing to move over to the edges of the stage.
Ooh, nice nair from Snowy, but he whiffs, and Luna gets the perfect punish. D-Light gets the follow-up afterwards. Doesn't quite get the landing, though. Getting a little stuck on the platform, I feel like, and Snowy has just been doing anti-air nair after anti-air nair. So much damage coming through the weapon. It's still hit. I think it actually threw both of them off, much to Snowy's detriment. Luna gets hit by it, gets the nair afterwards. Weapon throw comes through. He just scoops him after it. I think Snowy's disarmed. Yeah, so no gauntlets in hand. Stop. Nair, and that's still connected. That had to have been like the last possible frame of that hit, and it felt like it hit that much harder because of it.
Okay, now help me out on this, because maybe my memory is just serving me wrong. Does NA stomp nair?
Yes.
I don't remember them really stomp nairing.
I mean, it's situational.
I feel like that's been a recent thing that it's going to escape my brain.
Luna's definitely doing it a lot more than I'm used to seeing.
Yeah.
For sure. Stomp Cider is so much of the bread and butter auto combo thing that you would do.
I can't remember who was stomp staring in another region, but they were doing it. Maybe it was kind of Ackerman. I think it was kind of Ackerman. That was like doing so many stomp nairs. I wonder if that's going to sort of diffuse out into the culture of other regions.
Well, I'll tell you what. I feel like from what I've seen with Luna playing, a reason to favor the stomp nair, even if you're not at a point where you can knock them off the top of the stage, is that Luna's been getting so much more mileage off of playing, holding the ground and keep my opponent in the air, than in these edgeguard scenarios where it almost feels like a 50-50 between these two players on who's going to take the stock on the way back up.
And I also do want to talk about that D-Sig that we saw from Snowy's Axe over on the edge.
Whoa.
Luna was perfectly down on the wall to where that like immediate D-Sig wasn't anywhere near him. He was totally safe on it, and he was close enough to get the punish. So it was really good spacing.
Oh, Nair trades for Dare. Nair hits again. Downer hits, doesn't get the Cider combo. Oh, this is scary because Luna definitely has the most damage, but Luna is Taros, right? Like, okay, recovery hits, he's still living. One more. Anything from Snowy. And that's what's so terrifying. The pressure's on, but Stomp Cider from Luna could be it. Oh, let's see.
He's controlling the ground, like you said.
Oh,
he gets away from the weapon spawn.
Oh, he's doing the platform movement with this much damage on. Axe Nair sends him halfway up the stage. One Hammer Nair comes through. He dodges the weapon throw that time. Picked up. Is Snowy just going to weapon throw the rest of the game to get the stock? It's so close. Recovery dodged out of the way. Luna knows he's got the weapon starver going on. That's it. Oh, no. He bounced him. He bounced him off the stage.
They're both unarmed now.
Oh, you're crazy. He just wasted his dodge for the downlight. He doesn't get punished for it. The Hammer's picked up weapon. Ah! The Cider misses. Snowy gets the recovery. I can't believe it. Snowy with the pickup on the weapon spawn gets the recovery off the top. I mean, that game couldn't have been closer.
The damage that they both had to do to one another to get to the knockout situation. Snowy did 664. Luna on Taros had to do 618 damage. That is averaging significantly more than 200 damage per stock. These players do not want to get knocked out.
Yeah, they're just hitting each other back and forth. That average damage per engagement being at 30, just be, it's heavy weapons hitting, but it just means that one person stares them in the face, the other one stares them, and they're just like, all right, back and forth until finally someone gets knocked out. And that was such an intense scramble for that last knockout attack. There's kind of like, I don't have to risk any sidelights, I don't have to risk anything. Look at the damage graph at the end there. Both players just constantly tacking on damage, and the stock's just never ending. That was half the game on that last stock almost.
Yeah, I mean, really, for Snowy. You can see it on that little timeline.
Oh,
right
yeah,
below the graph.
it's literally half the game.
That's a little bit past the dead middle of the game.
Yeah, wow. That is Snowy just playing fantastic. And almost all of that was on Axe. 564 damage dealt from Snowy was on Axe that game. Unarmed and gauntlets combined doesn't even pass 100.
And this time, Luna is the one who had to do more unarmed damage on that one.
Yep.
92, not huge, not quite like the 151 that we saw previously from Snowy, but still almost twice as much unarmed damage than Snowy did. So he was unarmed for a little bit of that time, and I feel like unarmed Taros is probably not very favorable for the Taros player whatsoever. Going to have that low movement speed, so you can't get in and out quite as quickly. You'll have a little bit more force and a little bit more damage, but we're talking about the unarmed kit. Like, I feel like you're probably not feeling that too much.
So we're going to game number 4. And it's now a match point in favor of Snowy after Luna had such an explosive game 1. I mean, I feel like game 1 was like 3 minutes, if not even that, right? Going into game number 4 here, Luna starting off strong, and Snowy hits the Nair, gets the downlight, and is tacking on even more damage as that Nair comes through. Okay, but it just takes 1 or 2 hammer hits, right, to even that thing up right away.
Starts off with a side air. You see him again controlling the middle of the stage, forcing Snowy to land and then punishing that landing.
Oh, no, the neutral light gets him as he's walking off the right side of the stage. Weapon throw up, hammer picked up. Snowy goes in for the recovery. Oh, the stop Snowy from getting that unarmed pressure. Gauntlets are picked up. I keep whining, like the seeing Raymans in ranked has me thinking that he's going to go for a down stick every time with that edge guard there. And it's just, he's doing the right thing, but Luna gets that edge guard, and man, what a great lead for him going into game number 4.
I think Rayman culture has just evolved beyond the spamming of actually both down signatures really, but especially that axe signature over on the edge, how quickly it comes out, that spiking opportunity of it. Seems like that's mostly fallen out of favorability. I feel like we still do see a lot of the gauntlet down signature, but it's only like right on the corner. It's not a main thing that happens in neutral game. Beautiful placement on that weapon toss to clean that one up. We have a dead even game now. Snowy up 2-1 in this set, just a little bit behind in this game. It's not going to take much to even that up whatsoever, but if Luna comes out swinging with the hammer.
Ooh, yeah, the Nairs are coming through. Nair again. You know, I think this is definitely just a Luna thing. I think Nair on hammer is definitely his bread and butter. Side air hits as he gets back to the stage, but he goes in for a Nair once again, and Snowy trying to get the throw to bounce off the stage, hit Luna on the way back down. Luna doesn't want anything to do with it. Stopped side air. Luna gets hit by the Nair on the way back to the stage, but this is Luna's stock to lose, I feel like, as that side light comes through, and Snowy just does not want to risk going for a Rayman down signature on Axe on Luna to try to get that spike and take the lead. There's
a weapon spawn on the field that probably, I don't know if Snowy necessarily wanted the gauntlets. He's not really going to get anything that he wants right now as he's taken out of the game. I'm not sure if he was just throwing his weapon to get to the gauntlets, or if he was just throwing his weapon because this is a Snowy game, and that's Snowy, baby.
Well, it's so interesting note that we didn't talk about in the last stat screen. When it comes to weapon throws, it was 21-18. Both players are actually exchanging their weapons with each other at a relatively similar rate. But you're absolutely right. At least when it comes to Snowy games, I feel like that's the way that the game plays out. Snowy with that side air evens things up 1-1, is keeping the next weapon spawn denied as long as possible. Primes an axe, I believe. And Luna starts getting in with that unarmed attack. I know you're saying it doesn't favor the Taros too much, but I mean, hey, when you get those wins, it's something. Oh no, Snowy. Oh, he misses it.
Sweat beads on that
He missed the pickup because of the sweat beads. He just drifted right past the weapon spawn. He took so much damage for it. Finally gets an axe.
This just juggle opportunity that Luna keeps finding with hammer neutral air. So strong. Side air sending over to the right side. Weapon toss. Nice. Picks it back up too.
What?
Goes in deep with the dare.
Man, Luna has no fear off stage last stock. It's been no matter how much damage he has or doesn't have. He has just been going off of some crazy stuff. Snowy covering his head with Nairs. I mean, that's as long as you can possibly wait. Wow. Luna with the side
signature. Raw on stage. Doesn't gravity cancel this one like we saw at the end of one of Luna's previous sets against Pugsy. It was like far on the left side. This one just timed it really well. It's not like that comes out super duper fast, but just threw it out, got the hit with it. There you see it, 1 accuracy or 100% accuracy on the 1 side signature. He threw out exactly when he needed to.
Yeah, Luna has shown that he's fantastic with that specific signature. And, you know, I say that, but when it comes to watching Luna play Taros, I really feel like it's a different breed of Taros, because a lot of the times when he's using these signatures, I feel like he's incredibly mindful about his opponent, the player specifically, their positioning. Getting those neutral sigs on stage as Taros and not putting them out 5-10 times, but only doing it once and then having it work the one time that you do it, shows that he's got a lot of control over the unique properties of this character's kit. And he just really dominated in that game number 4. And now we're going to a game number 5, and look at that again, Sparky. Weapon throw is 15-16. When it comes to these two players, they're playing almost exactly the same when it comes to this pressure, whether it's using it to recover or using it to edge guard.
And you got to think about it with Snowy. He's an axe player. So tossing your weapon that often, that's definitely an axe player thing. On the other side, Luna, also an axe player, also a hammer player. You have those larger hitboxes on the weapon toss. That can be a way to sort of break up neutral, find your way to get in and really start your combo starters, like your sidelight Nair if we're talking about axe, your D-light into imagination if we're talking about hammer. So yeah, throwing weapons for these players specifically, using these weapons and throwing them, that's definitely something that they do when you're playing axe, when you're playing hammer. So it totally makes sense.
Ooh, it's Snowy on Mammoth for game number 5. Starts off pretty well with the axe. It's just so difficult between these two players because I feel like the second one heavy attack whiffs, the other player is right there to hit him 3 or 4 times for it, and the damage is once again evened up. There goes the switch over to the hammer for Luna. Luna really playing around that platform, hoping to catch Snowy out of a jump, and Snowy doesn't give it to him. 2 down airs instead into an unarmed stare means that Snowy solidly takes the lead as gauntlets are picked up.
We might see this game stretch out a little bit. The way they were playing it in the beginning, giving so much space to one another. We're about a minute in. I don't think anybody's in the red yet. We could see like a minute-and-a-half stock coming in unless something crazy happens. Like that.
Yep.
And Luna takes the stock with another edge guard situation in their victory.
So huge for Luna. It's so clutch to do it in game 5. Did it in game number 1. Hasn't really had much success off stage since then, but there is a huge way to be able to bring that back as Snowy had a strong lead, and Snowy's kind of being risky on that second stock. Ground pound used against the wall lagged a little bit into the side because of how they used it with their momentum, and Luna had an opportunity to punish, so they dipped down under the stage, recovered to the other side. Luna now falling with Nairs. I think Luna makes it back. It's
Dodge
close.
Has been burned. Does eat the recovery there, but it's not really going to lead to too much. Going to be a little bit of damage. Picked up so low that it's definitely not in danger of knocking out. Luna has plenty of time. Again, Snowy was unarmed, doesn't want to be. Moves over to the weapon spawn instead of going for like the unarmed engagement off stage when he's at the weapon disadvantage. Now Luna has control of the weapons yet again. That's been a very important part of Luna's focus the entire time.
Oh, and weapon throw down. Weapon throw again.
Bro, look how far that sent him.
Just hit him with another one. At this point, right? You were saying it's a staple of Snowy's play. That is the second unarmed stare knockout in this set alone. Snowy has just been bringing Luna the 300 damage every stock.
That's not good.
Yeah. I mean, it is good that they're not a whole stock down. And that's a positive, right? Like, yes, they're struggling at the knockouts, but they didn't take too much damage going into that as they're now in the gauntlets versus the axe. Luna starting to put out the neutralites that'll bring Snowy into red or into orange. And Snowy could be entering red pretty soon if he's not careful about this. That sidelight. It goes through, he gets the downer right afterwards, but Luna's still holding over in the center stage with that hammer disarmed. This is a pretty good opportunity for Snowy to really put on a lot of damage. But no, he whiffs the side air, and Luna gets an axe once again.
This is a game 5 situation to see who moves into winners semis against Sandstorm. This would be huge.
Luna
for
misses.
Luna to come out on top.
They were going to go for the dash jump ground pound on Snowy because Snowy had to go all the way underneath the stage while sweating. And they end up ground pounding the stage instead. Didn't get the right distance on it, and Snowy makes it back. And now could potentially take the lead. I felt like that hammer and air was going to knock out.
I did too. He picked it up really high.
I was like, wow, that hurt.
Snowy still definitely has the potential to bring this one back, and this is where, like, even though it takes a lot of damage, it's been a little while since Snowy took damage. I don't think he's going to get back here. No, he's not. There was no dodge that came off of cooldown. Even if there wasn't going to cover the distance that he needed, especially when he's unarmed. He didn't have any weapon in his hand to use that sort of helicopter that Rayman has. We've been kind of falling off the hype train on how crazy this upset would be if Luna knocks out Snowy. Like and that's just the kind of respect that I've been giving Luna in this set right here, where I'm just kind of like, oh yeah, these are 2 completely evenly matched players. Luna is seed 21 going into this off the back of 2 crazy upsets and knocking out Snowy, a player that is in many
many fans top 3 for this bracket, right? Knocking them out to go against Sandstorm in winner side top 8 would be huge, and they're 1 stock away from doing it. An entire stock up at this rate, so it's chasing Luna all the way up towards the top of the stage, but the Nairs are coming through, and Luna keeps moving. The scoop hits Sparky. It could be it.
Cider coming through. It seems like everything is in Luna's control right now. Even felt comfortable throwing that neutral signature. I think that would be the 3rd stock we've seen if that made the connection to take out with that hammer neutral signature. Luna spawning in, you're right. There is a chance here. We're talking about Seed 4 Snowy, baby. But if we're looking at any of the rest of the context of this set, there is 0 chance, and we have it played out here. Luna ascends the throne, taking out Snowy. The previous set, when he took out Phazon, who was Seed 5.
Yeah.
Already huge. Then made it another round, taking out Snowy, who's Seed 4, which is huge, but now he's going to have to go up against Sandstorm, who's Seed 1 for this. But look, I'm all aboard the Luna hype train.
I mean, Luna 3-0'd the player that knocked out Boomy in lower bracket.